powerful new wave of Iranian missile strikes has shaken Israel, leaving multiple people wounded and raising serious questions about the country's missile defense shield. According to Israeli emergency services, at least 6 people were injured after a ballistic missile attack struck central Israel, an attack that officials believe may have carried a cluster warhead designed to scatter explosive fragments across a wide area. The strikes came during one of the most intense days of missile exchanges since the conflict began. Air raid sirens echoed across major cities, forcing millions of Israelis to run for shelters as Iranian missiles streaked through the sky. Cluster warhead suspected. Israel's National Emergency Service, Magen David Adom, confirmed that several people were wounded when fragments from the strike landed in populated areas. In Tel Aviv, a man in his 40s suffered serious injuries after being hit by shrapnel during the explosion. Another impact site in Petah Tikva left 5 additional people wounded. Among them was a 25-year-old man listed in moderate condition, while several others were treated for lighter injuries. Police reported more than a dozen impact points across central Israel. The wide spread of explosions strongly suggests the missile may have been carrying a cluster bomb warhead, a weapon designed to disperse multiple small explosives over a large area. Cluster munitions can turn a single missile strike into dozens of dangerous blast zones, increasing the chances of casualties and infrastructure damage. The Israeli military, the Israel Defense Forces, said search and rescue units were immediately dispatched to the affected areas. Military officials are now investigating how the missile managed to penetrate Israeli air defenses. For years, Israel's layered defense network, including systems such as Iron Dome and David Sling, has been considered among the most advanced in the world, but the latest wave of attacks suggests that the scale and complexity of Iranian missile barrages may be putting those defenses under severe strain. Photos and videos circulating from the impact zones show damaged streets, shattered windows, and debris scattered across urban areas. Emergency responders rushed through smoke-filled neighborhoods searching for survivors and assessing the damage. 8 missile barrages in one day. Sunday's attack was not a single strike. According to Israeli authorities, Iran launched 8 separate missile volleys throughout the day. The first wave began around 2 a.m. local time. Sirens blared across northern, central, and southern Israel, forcing residents out of their beds and into underground shelters. Several additional salvos followed over the next several hours. While many missiles were intercepted, the constant alerts kept millions of civilians on edge. Some intercept fragments reportedly fell in open areas after defensive systems engaged incoming missiles, but by the afternoon, another Iranian barrage broke through, resulting in the injuries reported in central Israel. Iran signals stronger response. The missile attacks come amid escalating tensions following earlier U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iranian targets. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian warned that Iran's response could become even stronger. In remarks released on Sunday, he said Iran would not back down in the face of what he described as aggression. According to Pezeshkian, the more pressure Iran faces, the more forcefully it will respond. He also insisted that Iran was not seeking conflict with neighboring Arab states, despite the growing number of attacks spreading across the Gulf. But the widening scope of Iranian strikes is raising fears that the confrontation could spiral into a much broader regional war. Gulf countries also targeted. While Israel remains a central focus of the missile campaign, Iranian strikes have also been reported across several Gulf countries hosting American military bases. Authorities in Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain all reported new missile or drone threats over the past 24 hours. Air defense systems across the region have been activated repeatedly to intercept incoming projectiles. In Kuwait, officials said 2 border guards were killed while on duty, though the circumstances surrounding their deaths remain unclear. Authorities also reported that fuel tanks at the country's international airport were targeted in a drone attack. Meanwhile, in Dubai, falling debris from an aerial interception reportedly struck a vehicle, killing a Pakistani driver. Several other civilian deaths linked to missile debris have also been reported in the region.
Gulf states say they are intercepting the majority of incoming threats. The United Arab Emirates reported detecting 17 ballistic missiles on Sunday alone. According to officials, 16 were intercepted while one fell into the sea. Air defenses also engaged more than 100 drones approaching the country.
Saudi Arabia said its forces shot down 15 drones, including one targeting the diplomatic quarter of Riyadh. Bahrain also reported missile debris falling over parts of the country, wounding several people and damaging infrastructure. Despite these interception efforts, the scale of the attacks is creating increasing pressure on regional defense systems. Military analysts warn that the ongoing missile exchanges represents one of the most dangerous phases of the conflict so far. Iran appears to be testing the limits of both Israeli and Gulf air defense networks by launching large, repeated barrages from multiple directions. At the same time, Israel and its allies continue to strike Iranian targets in response. The result is a rapidly expanding battlefield stretching across the Middle East. From Israel's major cities to Gulf oil facilities to international airports and military bases, the conflict is touching nearly every corner of the region. For civilians living under the threat of missiles, the constant sirens have become a grim routine. Families are spending hours inside bomb shelters. Air defense batteries remain on high alert round the clock. And emergency crews continue to respond to impact sites whenever a missile slips through the defensive shield. Each new barrage brings fresh uncertainty and the risk that the next strike could cause even greater damage. The next phase. As the exchange of attacks continues, world leaders are urging restraint, but the momentum of the conflict appears to be moving in the opposite direction. Iran is signaling that its missile campaign will continue. Israel has vowed to respond to every attack. And across the Middle East, governments are bracing for what could come next. For now, the skies above the region remain filled with sirens, interceptors, and incoming missiles. And the question many are asking is simple: how long before this confrontation grows into something far larger?